It was a dark and stormy night, and Jane had just finished her shift at the local convenience store. She walked home alone, clutching her purse tightly as she heard the sound of her footsteps echoing in the deserted street. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from an alleyway and grabbed her, pulling her into the darkness. Jane struggled and tried to scream, but the figure held her tight and covered her mouth. She could feel his hot breath on her face as he whispered in her ear, "Don't scream, or I'll hurt you." Jane's heart raced as the figure dragged her deeper into the alley. She didn't know what he wanted or what he was going to do to her. Her mind raced with thoughts of escape, but she couldn't see anything in the pitch-black darkness. Suddenly, she heard the sound of sirens in the distance. The figure panicked and let go of Jane. Running away into the night, Jane fell to the ground, shaking and crying as she realized that she had narrowly escaped a terrible fate. The police arrived soon after, and Jane gave them a description of the figure that had attacked her. The police searched the area, but they couldn't find any clues or suspects. Days turned into weeks, and the case grew cold. Jane tried to put the incident behind her and return to her normal life, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. One day, she received a letter in the mail. The envelope was unmarked, and there was no return address. Inside, she found a handwritten note that read, "I'm still watching you. You got lucky last time, but next time you won't be so lucky." Jane's blood ran cold as she realized that her attacker was still out there, still watching her. She contacted the police, but they couldn't trace the letter or find any new leads in the case. From that day on, Jane lived in constant fear, always looking over her shoulder and wondering when her attacker would strike again. The police tried to protect her, but they couldn't be with her 24/7. Then one night, as Jane was walking home from work again, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around, but there was no one there. She started to walk faster, but the footsteps grew louder and closer. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her back, and everything went black. When she woke up, she was lying in a hospital bed, surrounded by doctors and police officers. She had been stabbed multiple times, and her attacker was nowhere to be found. The case remains unsolved to this day, and Jane lives in fear that her attacker will come back again. She can never forget the sound of those footsteps behind her, or the feeling of the blade in her back. The crime has left her scarred for life, and she knows that she will never truly be safe again.